Hello, my moons and suns. Want to learn how I created this unit? In this video, I'm going to cover easy step-by-step instructions on how I created this wavy, straight beach look. Hi, Camera here with Elon Blue Talks, where I help you to create stunning wigs through easy to follow steps, explore simple protective hairstyle options, and share tips on growing healthy, beautiful hair naturally. If you haven't already, and if you're new to the channel, go ahead and press that subscribe button to catch more videos just like this. All links in this video will be in the description box below. Let's talk first why I created this straight unit. I absolutely love flowy long hair. If I could be any like Disney character, it would be the Little Mermaid. I love red hair, I love long hair, and this is my version of that. I do actually have a more reddish orange unit that I absolutely love, but it's a little old, so I might need to make another one, but that's one of my favorites because it's just so, I don't know, red is just such a nice pop of color without being so extra. And even the red hair that I have is slightly red. It's a orangey red, so it's not super bright red, and I think that this look kind of gives me that Little Mermaid look. And even the length of it is crazy. This is a 36 inch, so it comes all the way down past my waist, almost touching my butt, so I love it. If it was curlier like the units that y'all have seen, that would be a lot. It would be a lot. It would be hard to sleep in. It would be hard to travel with. You know, I love my kinky curly hairs, but straight hair sometimes is just more manageable for those long units that I have. I've traveled with big hair on a plane. I will not do it again. So anytime I travel anywhere, I will put the wig on when I get to the place, because all of that hair in such a tight, confined space is just not the move for me. Jumping right into it for real this time, y'all. Tools. Let's talk about the tools that we're going to be using. So the first thing you're going to need is a mannequin head, of course. I am also using my signature black mesh cap, which is super stretchy and I love it. I can use it on both the curly hair and the straight hair. I'm also using today a 1.9 millimeter crochet needle, which is great for getting small pieces of hair. The brand of hair I'm using today is the Easy Braid Professional Hair, which is 36 inches in the 30 color. Of course, you guys can use whatever color hair you prefer, as well as texture, as well as length, but today this is what I'm using. To start, I'm going to go ahead and place the cap on the mannequin head. I've already sewn the cap closed, as well as cut off some of the excess fabric to tighten it a bit, because the cap is so stretchy. Sometimes it's more cap than I really need. I've also gone ahead and added the label on the back so that I know before I've even started crocheting where the back is. And I typically start from the back and work my way up to the front. Now this is optional. I'm adding T-pins onto the bottom half of the cap to stretch it out. You can use any kind of pins that you have, but eventually I'm going to take those pins off and tuck the band under so that I can attach the baby hairs as well as some of the straighter hair onto that black width around the cap. So of course you want to adjust the stand to your comfort level so that you can comfortably start to crochet. This process is a long process, so you definitely want to put yourself in a comfortable position as best you can. Typically the straight hair takes about 10 to maybe 12 hours. I rarely sit through the whole process. I usually take plenty of breaks, even daily breaks. And sometimes the straight hair takes about 3 days because of all the breaks that I take. But I think if you were really determined, you could do this in about 10 to 12 hours. So now you want to just be a little bit gentle with removing the hair from the package because it is synthetic hair. It's going to tend to tangle. I know some people have questioned why I prefer synthetic hair over human hair. I actually do like the texture of synthetic hair, especially when crocheting, because sometimes human hair can be a little too soft and the hair pieces don't really want to stay on as well as if I use synthetic hair. Synthetic hair just kind of holds it a little bit better because the texture is a little bit more coarse. So I like that. Plus I do like the texture as well, even though it gets a little tingle. I like that look of almost lock hair. So even this wig that I'm wearing now, this is the old one I've had for a while, maybe a few months now, maybe I want to say about 3, 4, maybe even 5 months. I've had this before the pandemic, so I've had it for a while. But I like how it starts to lock and form its own like grouping. I've even left some of the twist in, so it's a combination of loose hair and twist, and I think that kind of adds a little bit more character as well as add a little bit more culture, a little bit more texture. I don't want to look like I'm someone else, you know. I want to look like I'm black, but just a little bit more funky with it, you know. Okay, so now I'm starting the crochet process. I took a section of the hair and placed it onto my finger, and I'm pulling off small amounts of the hair onto my crochet needle and then crochet through. If you don't know how to crochet, I do have another video that can show you a different angle as well as different textures of hair that I've crocheted in the past, and you're more than welcome to reference that. I'll put a link right here or right here. I think it's gonna be right here. I'm gonna put a link right here to help with your crocheting process if you are a beginner with crocheting. But hopefully you can see what I'm doing at this angle. Again, I'm taking maybe about, I wanna say 8 pieces of hair, maybe even sometimes less than that, maybe 6 sometimes, but the exact amount of hair isn't as important. Just try to keep it between 4 and 8 pieces of hair. Essentially, with that pack that I started off with, I make the whole wig. So one pack should take care of the entire unit if you're using the Easy Braid Professional hair. So again, I'm going to split screen it so that you can see a close-up as well as a far away version. You can see how I'm sitting. You can see how the hair lays on my finger, as well as a close-up of the process. Try to be gentle because the cap is very stretchy and you don't want to pop it. So what I'm doing now is dividing the hair. Now that I've completed one group of twists, I'm going to twist it now together. And I count up 8 rows up and 8 rows across. Divide those in half and then I twist it. This is going to help to kind of create a formation so that when it's time to refresh it and redo it and style it over or detangle it, it will be all sectioned together so that you're not guessing, you know, where do I divide, how do I, you know, it's just all more uniform so that the maintenance of it can be a lot more easy, a lot more convenient, just much more simple. And then I twist all the way to the end, maybe leaving about 6 inches from the bottom loose, because you really don't have to twist it all the way down. Because it is synthetic hair and because it's already so coarse, it will hold the twist pretty good. The T-pins come in handy as well because it is so long. I use a T-pin as a shortener. So I take the hair, using the T-pin, pin it up and continue to twist so that you can see the full version without me having to move too much. And now we're gonna just speed it up. I'm gonna show you different angles, so don't worry, we'll get a closer view in just a second. This is actually, the straighter hairs are actually probably one of my favorites too. I know I say all of the hairs are my favorite. I got so many favorites, honey, but it's one of my favorites. So again, this is a close-up of the formation. 8 up, 8 across. This is very similar to the curly hair, only we're skipping every other row and every other hole. So though we're going 8 up and 8 across, I'm only inserting it in every other row, which looks like 4. But I'll show you the comparison in just a few. So let's slow it down. I do a lot of speed up and slow down because the video would be so long if I showed you the whole process in real time. So you'll see a lot of speed up, slow down, close up, far away, just to kind of give you different angles. I hope that this is helpful. Let me know if it is. If it's not, let me know that as well so that I can better film this process. So you're just making sure that the latch is open when you insert it into the hole. You grab onto a small amount of hair, anywhere between 4 and 8 pieces. You slide it through the hole again, grabbing the end, and then sliding that through. I'm going 8 down and 8 across. And when you finish, what you'll see is that the hairs are going in a diagonal angle, but that's fine. That's just the way the caps are made. So even though it's a square, it's gonna look more like a diamond. But when you put it on, you can kind of adjust it to more of a square look if you want. So now I am comparing the two. So now we have the curly unit on the right and the straight unit on the left. Again, the process is very similar, only with the straight hair, I can put all of the hair that I'm working with at that moment on my finger, grab it, slide it through, and pull, and it's just a seamless process. Now with the curly hair, it's a little bit more difficult to slide so much hair in one grip. So I separate it with my fingers and then grab just that separated part and work with that, sliding it through the hole gently as well as holding the net so that there's not so much tension and pressure trying to get all of that hair through. And again, the process is the same: 8 up, 8 across. With the curly hair, even though you're going 8 up as far as holes, you're only inserting 4 pieces of hairs in those holes, because you're skipping every other hole and every other row. But once you divide it, it's 8 up and 8 across, and then you separate the two and twist. The twisting process just helps to kind of let you know that that area is done and move it out of the way, as well as it kind of creates the formation of a wave for the straight hair, and it kind of creates a curly formation or a twist out look for the curly hair. I love this so much. Yeah, I love making hair. I love making things. I love being creative. I love all that. I love filming. I love photography. I love art. I love making things beautiful. I love talking. I love everything. I love reading. No one asks, but I'm just talking. I love educating, and I love being educated. So that's yeah. I love discovering. I love learning, and then I love sharing. So yeah, share with me what y'all love. Since I'm just talking. Okay, so now that was 6 pieces, and if that was 6 pieces, it probably took me about an hour, 60 minutes to do. It takes about 10 minutes to do each twist, so that gives you a rough idea of how long it takes to do a whole unit. And now we're going to just speed it up. So that's the process for making the hair. I haven't finished that one yet because it was my birthday weekend and I was out, and my friends was like, no, we're not gonna allow you to miss your birthday weekend. So so I've been slacking a little bit, but I'm going to show you where I am with it right now. Okay, so this is where we are. I have still the whole front to do and the center hair, but it looks so lovely. I'm so excited. A nice new unit. Ooh. So yes, so I'm gonna finish that off camera, but what I do want to show you on camera is the baby hair process. So let's do that right now. I take the original hair that I started with. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it again. The tools you're gonna need for this process is a 1.9 millimeter crochet needle, curling wands, scissors of course, and your mannequin head. I'm taking just a little bit of the hairs apart, and I'm going to work just with this section for now. So I'm going to use the pointier end, not the round, thicker end, because I do want the curl pattern to be just a little bit tighter. And I'm going to wrap it around. Wrap until I can't wrap anymore, and then I take the flat iron in between and closed. I'm just gonna hold it in there for just maybe about a minute long, because I really want it to be pretty formed. Just hold it there. Another method that I use is with a bobby pin. This is a very long one. Not a bobby pin, a hairpin. This is a very long hairpin, so it works perfectly for this. Again, I'm going to take the piece of hair that we cut off earlier, and then I'm going to do a wrap around. This one, I'm just going to wrap it like this. There's a lot of method that you can do to get this curl. Just all depends on what you prefer. I'm just going to show you all of them that I use. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So that's how that looks. And then take the flat iron again. And let it release, and this is what you get. And what I'm going to do is just cut the very tips off, because those are still straight, and what you're left with is a very kinky texture. So it looks like this. And I think I prefer this texture more so than the looser, but a nice blend is also really good. What I usually do is, if the texture is a little too kinky, sometimes that can be a little too kinky for straight or wavy hair. So once I've put it on, once I've attached it to the unit and I put it on my head and I'm styling it, and I see that it could be a little bit straighter, I'll either take a blow dryer, some form of heat, or a flat iron and straighten it just a little bit so that it starts to blend in with the rest of the hair. So yeah. So that's another way to do it. I'll do another video. I'll do another video on how I attach the wig and style it, but I just know if I do it on this video, it's going to be way too long. So once that video is done, I'll put it right there. So just like the curly hair units, I am going to attach the baby hair to the band. Grabbing just a little bit of the hair and pulling it through. So because this hair is so kinky, because I curled it or kinkified it, kinkified, that's what we're gonna call this, kinkified. So because I kinkified it, it's gonna take a little bit more effort to get it through that band. So just be careful, be as gentle as you can be, so that you don't destroy the band itself trying to get the hair through. I will put a link to the original baby hair video so that you can watch that. I think it might be a little bit more visual. So the length of the baby hairs on here is a little long, but I prefer it to be long, a little long rather than too short, because you can always cut it. Again, close up. And you would just continue that all the way around the black band. I will show you the final result when I show the video of how I install the wig. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. If this is something that you think others would like, please share this video with your friends and family. And until next time, peace.